Hello, what we're going to take a look at now in this module is the concept of cellular, which has grown by leaps and bounds. I mean, there is no question that we have more wireless devices today than we have wireline devices, which was unheard of back in the 90s. So, what has given rise to the cellular networks? Well, first and foremost, it started with a need. There was a need to provide telephony services to areas which didn't have them. This was in the mountainous areas where it was very difficult to put cable. It was in very rural areas where the distances were very long. So it was cost prohibitive from that perspective. It started with this concept of sharing of frequencies and reusing these frequencies. Now, if you look at it in another way, the issue of attenuation of free space loss was always something that microwave engineers looked at, and they tried to get the maximum signal to noise ratio. So they were trying to get the maximum EIRP from the transmitters to have a decent signal to noise ratio. In the cellular world, this has been flipped over its head. And what we're now doing is actually we are reducing the EIRP so that we can reduce the range of the transmission so that that frequency can be reused. And so that's really the paradigm shift that occurred here. So first and foremost, it was the reuse of frequencies. Secondly, the recognition by the world bodies and the governments that this was an important resource for which licensing should be applied, and therefore they could get a lot of money on one hand, and also that the subscribers were protected. So that became the second big issue in terms of licensing of frequencies. And then the third issue was that in order for this to work well, the resources had to be shared. So different forms of multiplexing had to be implemented so that people within a specific area would all be able to share the resources that were put there. For example, a cell tower in in the middle of nowhere. There could be farmers or shepherds or whoever that needed to use the facilities of the cell tower would all be able to share them. So the concepts of multiplexing, time division multiple access, code division multiple access, and frequency division multiple access all came into predominant use here. I mean, these technologies had been known before, but they came out on their own, so to speak, because of the need to provide services. And then, of course, as the evolution of cellular went on, we moved from voice services to data services because now the need was to have access to the internet with the introduction of the World Wide Web, and then with the introduction of multiple applications. And you see now that we have more data applications and data usage than we have voice usage, which is amazing in its own way, because I recall the first data networks that we had over GSM, which was called GPRS. The maximum throughput was 36 kilobit per second. 36 kilobit per second. And we were competing with wireline technologies at that time at T1, which is 2 megabits per second. But now we are now looking at LTE, where we have enormous throughput and the ability to share. And now with the advent of 5G also, we're going to be able to reuse these resources and benefit from them. Thank you.